Oh, hi there, guys. Guess who it is? You and you thought you all figured out what was gonna happen. Old DW here is putting a wrench in the plans. It's Daniel Wright from Tulsa, Free Safety, hosting this episode of Minor Leagues Fights and Insight. Axel's in the booth in the back here doing production. He got us with all this graphics. But guess what? You're gonna have to live with me this time. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Welcome to week 2 of the SFL Minor League on Minor League Fights and Insights. Today we're going to be joined with two special guests today. We'll be joined with John Fowler, which has come back from last week from the Madison. And we got Robert Cherry from Charleston, who had a big playoff performance, a playoff win just last week. How you doing, guys?
Doing well.
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, except if we look at last week, these notes I got here, I'm just going to go ahead and go like this, and go like this, and go like this, because I got everything wrong on who you got. So maybe I shouldn't take notes next time. So we'll see how this goes. So let's look at some of the games from last week, shall we? So the first game here, we got the Albuquerque Adams and the San Jose Flight. Robert Cherry, what did you think of this game?
Well, definitely San Jose looks like a powerhouse out there. With Jordan Sipe at quarterback, they look really good. He had 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's very impressive.
It was very impressive indeed. I was actually surprised at how well he played in comparison to third year and third season player Travis Blanton on the other side. John Fowler, what do you have to add about this game?
I think this is the only game I got right last week. I I knew San Jose was gonna have a feeling come out with a win, but I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. Like they blew them out. Like at first it was close, and it just got over here. Like they're being dicks, but it was a good game to watch though.
Yeah, so what surprised me the most was actually how easy Jordan, see the quarterback, obviously, for the San Jose Flight, found the middle of the field and got past the secondary and corners with his throws. Like this is an Albuquerque Adams team that came back. Their core defense, the secondary especially, are back as two-way players for the most part. And Jordan Seabs looked like a natural pro there. Like he had 32 completions out of 44 attempts for 400 yards. You don't see that much in the minor leagues, let alone out of a player that's doing this for the very first time, kind of thing. 6 touchdowns. It was a masterful art. Now on the other side, of course, I'm going to talk about Charles Blanton a little bit. He did play okay. He didn't have the worst game, 29-37 of 247, but that defense needs to step it up in Albuquerque, and I know you guys can do it. And Blue Scott, 21 for 79, much better performance than what he did in preseason. And it's only going to be up from there. I think he's going to have a nice tail spin and continually to grow up. If you know that old man pun, please laugh with me because I think no one will. Let's move on, shall we? We got the Lexington and Tacoma game. John Fowler, were you as surprised as I was about Tacoma and how resilient they were?
Honestly, I did. I think the player I called out from last week was Ty. He actually did really damn good, man. He actually prevailed and made the Grizzlies come out strong. Like I had a feeling he was going to showcase his skills in the first game, but I'm surprised Lexington didn't keep back up. You know what I mean? Keep the score a little closer. But
Yeah, and
I
a
guess
lot of their
Tacoma won it.
points came at the fourth quarter too. We all got to make a note of that. So Tacoma led the charge for most of the way. Anything else that stood out for you, Fowler?
Uh, the wide receivers for Pack are really they're gonna have a good season together. I think their chemistry's on point so far. From when he was throwing the ball to running, I think this wide receiver is gonna play a big part for him.
Yeah, we saw it, especially with second year or returning to a contract. Shane Kaufman who went for 10 receptions for 209 yards. That was most of the yards right there, just mind blowing. And Tita
And
Queen
then he,
as well had a great game.
I agree. And then when freaking Shane got the ball, man, it was either he's gonna spin, get extra yards, or spin, go for a touchdown. It was intense, dude. He's gonna be a player to watch for in the minors as well.
Oh, definitely. Mr. Cherry, good sir, what did you think of this game? Because I thought Miners were gonna steamroll Tacoma, and I'm a Tacoma boy.
Well, what jumps out to me on the spreadsheet is Tacoma was just able to convert on third down. They had 50% conversion on third down compared to Lexington's 37%. A well balanced offense was able to keep them going. That's my opinion on this.
Yeah, that is a good point to make, and I know for a fact because I watched a lot of this game, that a lot of the third downs were deep throws too. Like it wasn't just like a 3rd and 5. You're just going to do enough to move the chains. Like they threw deep the same several times in that to make the big plays on third down, and it worked out for them. We'll see how they do next week in that comparison. For the Lexington Miners, they played pretty well. They didn't have the offensive performance I thought they were going to have. I thought Usman, after seeing him in preseason, was going to have a good one. He was my player of the week several weeks ago, but I'm thinking he's going to bounce back. He struggled a bit with this Tacoma defense that I thought was going to be a little weak after losing Earl Field because that was the main player in Tacoma last season. But Tacoma surprised me with their new coaching. Zach Holdorf, I do believe, is running things, and in the defensive side, I do believe. Uh, and man, that was impressive showing. I have to admit that was an awesome game to watch for Tacoma, who no one suspected was going to win and just pull through. Lexington will rebound. Ethan Kai, he knows what he's doing. He got to the championship last season. He'll come back. He will 100% bring it back. And of course, our third game, the Madison Lynx versus the Adams. And this game, I think, for everyone, went kind of what a few of us thought. Sorry, Mr. Fowler, on that. Sorry, John. But, John, you were front and center in this game. How did you find it going against Randy Squarebus?
Okay. Let's just say Randy's a baller. Dude, he laid me out like a few times, bro. I couldn't stop him. I mean, it was a good game. We tried to keep him at bay in the first half. It worked, but in the end, he just kept getting the ball, which means I think he has workhorse, so he will. After he keeps getting the ball, he'll do better and better and better. So it just became a lot harder to handle Randy. Randy's a baller, man. Like, like he's gonna be a tough one in the beginning of the season to stop. But like everyone's been saying, once progressions, everyone starts progressing and getting up there, it's going to play differently for other teams in the middle to the end of the season. Beginning is just iffy. What really matters is the middle and the end. What really determines who's gonna go where.
Very agreed. And Axel makes a good point in chat. Annapolis had a kick return touchdown as well. So if you take that off the board, it's only 22-13, which is a better score, obviously. But Randy is a monster. And Gene Struthers also had a good game too, 25 for 29. Only missed 4 incompletions for the entire game. Uh, Robert Cherry, what did you have to say about this game?
All I can say is Square Bush is a beast, and he could dominate any game at any time. I remember him from last year. He was able to pull it off, or last season he was able to pull it off, and he'll definitely do it again. The other thing I noticed is I'm surprised Marcus Duncan didn't get as many touches as I thought he would, or he wasn't as effective. He had 21 touches, so he did get a lot of touches, but he wasn't really effective in the run game against Annapolis's defense, which shocks me a little bit.
Oh, that is a very good point. He only had 62 yards and he had 42 receiving. So he still had a 100-yard performance overall, but no, on the running game especially, you think you expect a whole lot more out of him. Alexander Moon, he struggled a little bit, 25 for 34, 1 interception, 1 touchdown, 207 yards. So, but I think this is just Madison getting stuck with a really big opponent right off the bat, right? Ryan Squarebus is not going to progress anymore. This is where his limit is. And you guys just happened to get him week 1. But you guys will have a chance to rebound in the final game of the season. Is that right, John?
Okay. I think we're gonna come back and beat them next time. We're gonna come back with vengeance and heart and want the game more than they would. This is my opinion though, but I'm ready for Ottawa though.
Yeah, that should be a good one as well. I know Axel, he's coaching for Madison. Might be the reason why he ain't here this week, but we're not gonna Well, he can't talk about it. We're not going to let him go with it without saying something. I love you, Axel. Thank you for doing this in the production booth. Game number 4, the Lincoln and Ottawa. So this was actually close, and I thought it was going to be close, but the way it was close, I didn't expect. Like Ottawa's defense held strong, but they didn't get the picks I thought they were going to get to keep it close. What do you think was the leading cause of this, Robert Cherry?
Well, I think. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Oh
I
yeah,
was looking at some stats.
yeah, go right ahead. You can go with stats too. I was talking about how Ottawa's defense held them in the game, but they didn't get a single pick, which was I thought was going to be what kept them in the game.
They didn't get a single pick. What I'm looking at here is Kenny Slider was able to perform decently. He had 76% completion against that defense. Uh, and he was only sacked once, but he only had one passing touchdown. So the defense did a bend don't break uh, sort of defense. So that is a good sign.
Yeah, definitely. Any more stats you want to throw out for this game?
Uh, third down completions are pretty close. What I do notice is Ottawa did have a better run game than Lincoln, and did a little bit better on the passing, but that was pretty close together. But looks like the run game and that rushing touchdown uh, broke the tie pretty much.
And John, what did you think about this game? Because I expected it would be close, but I was really surprised at how the bend don't break mentality, like Robert Cherry was saying, of Ottawa just kept them in it, kept them playing throughout the game.
I won't lie, I did not catch this one. I did not catch it. I just saw it when I was watching the Madison game. I just saw it like until it hit fourth quarter, third quarter. It was tie the whole time. Uh, in my opinion, damn, Ottawa fought for that win though. That's my opinion. I didn't see it. This is how I felt.
No, it was a fighting mentality, and I think that was what we saw throughout the entire week, not only in preseason or in the minor league, sorry, but even in the post game in the majors as well. A lot of teams fought and clawed their way to get victories when other people didn't think that was going to happen. But we got some exciting games coming next week, don't we, guys? Let's take a look and see what's coming in the following week. So here we go. We have ourselves Albuquerque and Annapolis. So this will be, I think this will be a nice showdown between two good running. Well, I would say good running backs, but I forgot Douglas Brown's not there anymore. But Blue Scott had a really good game, so I think this will be a really good performance and test for the Albuquerque Adams. Their defense need to get in line though. Their defense need to rebound and shake it all off. What do you guys say? We'll start with Robert.
Well, I think Randy Squarebush will run over that defense again. It's hard to stop him, and that's all she wrote, in my opinion. And I'll say it right now. I think Annapolis will win that game.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way as well initially, but my notes were wrong before, and I'm afraid to take more notes about it and see what happened. John, what do you think about this game coming through?
Oh, like I said, the game first 2, 3, 4 weeks are gonna be tough for anyone to go against Indianapolis. I think maybe the first 3 games, but I think Squarebush is gonna have a field day. I hope. I'm gonna go for Albuquerque on this one. Don't prove me wrong, eight times, but Adams. But I really want you guys to beat him, just because I got smashed by Squarebush last week. But it's gonna be tough for him. I hope Atoms will come out with a win, but it's just gonna be a fight battle, especially with Randy in the backfield. It's just yeah, Trellis Bland is a gold QB, but how I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's gonna be tough because I said we Trails Blindon would need to have a bigger role this season, and he played pretty well, but he needs to play spectacular against this Navigators team, which is almost up to down a monster of a team, especially when it comes to Square Bush. But their secondary is nothing to sneak at as well. They got 3 bronzes, 2 corners, and a free safety are both bronze. So this is gonna be a very, very tough game for the Adams. They might go 0-2 to start the season, but we never know in the league what's gonna happen. Like that's the fun. Scouting now is in play, guys. You can scout the previous game, which could turn it on its head of what happens going forward. But I'm leading as well to a Navigators winning victory.
Hon-
Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, what Axel said in the chat, he was right that 8 times DBs might be the ones that are required to stop Randy. But that's going to be hard too, Axel, because did you look at last week and how Randy just ran over people constantly, no matter who the hell it was, except for Matthew. Matthew was the only one who can kind of stop him in his place in a way. But it's going to be tough for the DBs too. If they can't tackle him properly, they're just going to get ran over.
Yeah, if Randy gets enough speed, it's really you have to gang tackle him just to bring him down.
And even then, that's really hard to do. Like he's set up. I'm looking forward to see him next season in the pros. Maybe he won't be a two-way player, and maybe he won't be a secondary back. We don't know how free agency takes out and things like that, but he's going to have a long tenure in the pros, and he should get the looks like this in the minors in the pro season. I'm hoping someone does stop him because I want to see someone step up to the challenge because this is the big boss at the end of the level, and I want to see someone step up to him and so make a name out of what happens in that game. So let's move on to the next game. I believe it's Lincoln and Lexington. Yes, it is. Lincoln and Lexington both coming off surprising and tough losses. Uh, John, which one do you think is going to have the best advantage going forward in this one?
I'm an OG Lincoln person. I like the Lincoln, but I also like Kai and what he's doing with the minors. Oh, I they both came off good game. Lexington should have had a better game, but I think that was just the first game jitters, getting it out of the way for the first season, for the first game of the season. Lexington might pull it off and get back in the groove, but if Lincoln could hold them like they kind of did with the Ottawa in a way, Lincoln might have it. It's just it's up in the air for me. I don't know who's gonna take this one, so I'm just gonna say good luck both teams. I hope either one of you wins. So I like you both, so I'm not gonna choose on either one of that. I'll stay neutral on that. But it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be another good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, man. Ethan Kai's been known to sim a lot of games going into the week to prepare himself for what's to come. And he did it all the way last season to the championship game. So I think he's going to be ready for this one, unless Lincoln throws a little wrench in the plans. Robert Cherry, what do you think about this game?
Well, I think Jaleel Usman will bounce back, and as long as he stays mobile, doesn't get sacked, and brings his interceptions down, I think they'll beat Lincoln.
Yeah, well, it hurts me to say this because they're my pick, dark horse, to win the whole thing, and I hate to see them go 0-2 at the start. But it's going to be tough. I also said Jaleel Usman was going to have a good season. I think he does rebound. The secondary on Lincoln could be a problem, but their corners are a little lower than the rest. But they had good interceptions against Ottawa. I believe Frankie Lynn Custer, I think it's Frankie Lynn Custer, might have got an interception last week. It could have been Skippy. One of the female corners did, and that's a pretty good start to the season for them. But Travis Arthur on the other side, he's the two-way player. Isabella Blackwell's the two-way player. This defense is going to lock down, I think, this week going forward. So I'm going to lean, and I hate to do this because I don't want my team going 0-2. But I'm going to lead a little bit to the Miners just because of their threats with David Gears, Zachary Patton, the 1-2 punch of wide receivers, and their safeties coming back with also Ty Woods as a corner being silver already. It's gonna be hard for Lailu to get open, I think. And I know for a fact because I can see the feed right here. If Link goes 0-2, will Daniel continue? Axel, I want to see the end of this.
Well, to you, Daniel, on that one, that's if Usman can have a good game, though. It all depends on Usman and how he's gonna play. Because last week he didn't do too hot. Everyone thought he was gonna come out on fire, but he kind of came out sluggish. Kind of came out like he didn't really train hard enough in the off season. But it's gonna come down to Usman trying to get his wide receivers open and finding and like picking apart the defense. It's just all up to him. And if the defense could come in clutch too, that would be great for Lexington. But if Lincoln's got more heart in it, Lincoln might just take it.
No,
Just saying.
you make a good point. Jilly Usman needs to show up in this game. He had a rough first week, but I mean, I gotta feel for my man. I gotta believe he's gonna bounce back. In and on Axel's point, 0-2, will Daniel get his gears around? I will do a segment just for you called Grind Your Gears that we all know from Family Guy. I will talk about the Lincoln Rattlesnakes and their 0-2 start, and I hope they all hear and listen because I did Tacoma last season, so no one is safe from my power. I will do stuff. You'll listen, and maybe it'll help. We had a good. I did to the Boise Mud Dogs, and they came back and almost made the playoffs. So go Mud Dogs. Let's go
I
to week.
forgot.
Yeah. You go to week the game number 3. That was the Boise Mud Dogs. They had an incredible second half last season, almost coming back to do it all. San Jose and Tacoma. So this is the two the two teams that had blowout games, let's say. Both scoring over 40. Will the offense continue on this one? Robert Cherry, we'll start with you.
I think both offenses are going to click. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's combined 60 plus points. It's going to be an air show, in my opinion, with some running for sure. But I definitely feel it's going to be an air show.
Yeah, John, what do you think about this matchup of the Grizzlies versus the Flight?
I agree with Robert there. It's going to be an air show, but if it's an air show, there's going to be a lot of interceptions going on. If those DBs can capitalize on the routes those receivers are doing and know and pick and choose which time to actually pick off the ball, it's going to be open season. That's if it's an air show. But then again, you got to look at the running backs. Are they going to use their running backs too? They have Tacoma has JB Elliott, and then you got Jay-Z Bacon on the other team. So did they really run last week? I don't even think Jay-Z ran that much last week, to be honest. And then Elliott, I don't know if he really ran either. I'm not sure if they just went straight passing last those games was last week. But if they come out scoring like they did, it's gonna be a game. I'm just gonna say this is my game of the week. Is San Jose and Tacoma. Because if they came out scoring like they did last week, it's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. So stats wise, JC Bacon only ran 10 times last week for 28 yards. So he wasn't a factor in the San Jose Flight win. From the Tacoma side, let me just scroll on up here to look at it more clearly. We got JB Elliott, he did have 20 rushes for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the yardage could be better going forward. But yes, I think this is going to be a light show. I agree with you guys. Offenses click. We know Ty Pack really likes Shane Kaufman. We know the deep ball has been working for them. I think they're going to keep going. And on the other side, how do you stop the San Jose Flight after you just put up 45 points? That is just difficult. And they really ground out the game for the Adams. Like Adams didn't have much in the way of anything. Mickey, my best man kicker, Mickey was able to get some points on the board, but that touchdown for the Adams didn't come till way late in the game. So do you think it will be one of the defenses actually making a play that will be the difference in the game? And anyone can answer fast. Go first.
I mean, honestly, I think it is. It's gonna come down to if it's a pass heavy game, it's gonna come down to either the defense sacking them or coming up with the pick six or coming up with the interception to boost their team morale. Because it's all gonna come down to who's got the more morale and who's got more heart at the time, depending on how the game's played. But the defense on both sides are gonna have to step it up big time.
What do you think, Robert Sherry, about that? Do you think it's going to be one of the defenses really making a play to end it?
I agree. I think the defense will have to start at the front. You got to get pressure on the quarterback to make those bad decisions, to get those interceptions, to get those pass deflections, all of the above. If you get pressure up front, you should be able to slow down an offense, even completely stop them if need be.
No, yep, that's really good. I think there will be a key interception on one of the two sides that will lead to kind of like the breakaway types, one of them breaking away of the pack and getting the win. But after seeing the offense work on both sides of the fence, it's going to be tough. This is going to be a high scoring game, and it might be the game of the week for everyone. And we will go back to the game of the week afterwards after we cover our final game, which will be the Ottawa versus Madison Lynx. And John Fowler, I won't let you wait too long. You can talk about your Lynx. How are they going to rebound?
I mean, Ottawa put up a fight against Lincoln. It's gonna be a battle, but I think the Lynx are gonna come out strong on this one. We don't got deal Square Bush, so we're good on that one. The only person we got to deal with is their CB, a couple of CBs, and the quarterback. Really, I mean, if our offense can click and our defense can keep doing what it's doing, like the linebacker core, the DBs, and play lights out, I think we can come out with a win on this one and go to 1-1. But that's my opinion. It's just gonna be a fight either way. Because Ottawa put up a fight against Lincoln last week, so I ain't gonna expect this to be a slouch.
No, I agreed. Madison had the unfortunate situation of facing Square Bush week one. So I think the first week is not really the showcase that for the Lynx and what they can do offensively and defensively. So I think this is going to be a closer game than many may realize with the score of what happened last week. Robert Cherry, your predictions on this one? What you think is going to happen?
I do think the defense will bounce back, but they're gonna have to stay on top of Salmons, the running back, because he had a 100-yard game on 20 carries, maybe 21 carries. I think if you stop the running game and you make them one dimensional, it should be a lot easier for the Madison Lynx, and they could get the win.
Yeah, he had 23 carries. So yeah, you're right on the nose right there for 100 yards and a rush TD, which is really good if you take in comparison his stats already at because he's still pretty much fresh as I would like to say. He's still a rookie, true rookie at heart compared to some of the people who have progressed more before the season actually started. But Ottawa had a good game plan against Lincoln, even though there was no scouting going to happen. Like their defense held strong. Even though they didn't get the pick, didn't get the turnover, they kept it close enough where they can actually get the win. So this is a sneaky good defensive team. John, do you think your defense is up to the challenge? Just match them and
Yep.
see who can come out better on defense?
Honestly, if Matthew and I can hold off Salmons, I think we can handle it. Because between Matthew's over 10 tackles and mine almost 10 tackles, we can handle the run a little bit now that Randy ain't in play. But dude, he's gonna give you nightmares. I swear. But uh, I think we can handle it. I think our defense is ready. We'll bounce
Yeah,
back.
I know all about nightmares because I had to guard Douglas Brown a few times when he had that tremendous season. And he just plowed me and Axel to the dust several times when he was on with the Adams. And boy, I didn't sleep well for the whole week. Uh, Robert, any last thoughts you have on this game?
I do agree with John that him and Matthew Alvarado will have to work sideline to sideline to keep the running back in check and take away the short route and force the deep ball. That way, your coverage guys, your DBs could be prepared and handle it.
All right, now we'll get to the fun part. I think John already specified his game of the week. Robert, what do you think is going to be your game of the week?
I'd have to pick the San Jose Flight versus Tacoma Grizzlies as well. It's gonna be a very interesting game, a very high scoring game, I believe. I still think it'll be 60 plus points, and it will come down to a defensive play, maybe a couple defensive plays to sway whichever way whoever will win.
Yeah, no, this game is going to be a. If you like offense, this is definitely the game that you want to watch. For me, I'm gonna agree with San Jose Tacoma, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate because that's what I do the best on this show. I'm gonna say I'm gonna want to watch the Lincoln and Lexington just because I want to see the scouting of the Rattlesnakes because their new coaching staff, a new team. Mike All is very passionate. And we know about Ethan Kai, and he'll sim hours and hours and hours on a week to make sure he got the right game plan. So I want to see the coaching matchup in this one and see how it translates on the field. Because now we have scouting. We didn't have a week one. Could be a big difference on either side of the fence. Uh, Before we move
It,
on to anything else, oh yeah,
may I add something to that one?
yeah, go right ahead, John.
For Lincoln and Ottawa's game was pretty much closer than any game in there last week, apparently. Uh, if Lincoln could keep up that bay with Lexington and can hold and can hold freaking what is it? Not Lexington. Yeah, is it Lexington and fucking sorry for my language, my bad. Uh if they can
It's
hold
okay.
Square
That's
Bush,
a
dude.
coin in the coin jar. You just have to put it afterwards.
Okay. If they can hold Square Bush, dude, it's all comes down to Square Bush and Usman. Usman too. If not Square Bush, sorry. I
I
looked at
know.
the
I
wrong.
think you're thinking about Christian Pierce.
Yeah, Christian Pierce. Sorry, I looked at the wrong roster there. If Usman could come out fire and do what everyone thinks he can do, I think Lexington might just have it. But if Usman comes out like he did last week, and then Kenny Slider's doing his thing, Lincoln might just take it. So it's all just gonna vary on the QBs, in my opinion, and who's really gonna take the game or not.
Yeah, it's important for Ethan Kai to scheme Usman correctly, like avoid the sacks, avoid the picks as much as possible.
Agreed. I think Usman has a better game. I'm feeling a better game from him, mostly because I kind of need him to if he's my player of the season or player of the week kind of thing. Uh, do you guys have any players to watch this week per se after seeing the games last season or last week, I should say, compared to this week?
I'll let Robert go first.
I'm throwing a curveball because none of you are prepared for this question.
I'd have to say I want to see the Madison Link linebacking core step it up and stop the run game. I think that'll be a breath of fresh air. I'm from Madison Links. That's where I came from. I'd like to see the linebacking core step it up this week.
Okay, John, what about you?
I got three things. One, I want to see Usman do better. I want to see him have a better week than he did last week. I want to see him not throw so many picks and interceptions, or take those many sacks. But and Ty, I want to see. That's my second one is Ty too. If Ty comes out and does what he did last week, it's gonna be over, literally. And then, of course, my last and least one is the linebacker core for Madison. I want to see actually the whole defense do good next week. I want to see us prevail. So those are my three things.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the San Jose Flight Tacoma game, and I'm gonna put one on either side of the fence, and they're gonna be both wide receivers. Jay Viper had a tremendous game last week. Like he went deep onto Adams, got through past the secondary, ran yards, and I want to see T the Queen. She had a good game too against in Tacoma, but it was a little overshadowed by St. Kaufman as expected. St. Kaufman is the number one wide receiver. I think T the Queen is going to have a really good game because this is going to be both offenses just generating yards and points. So I think both wide receivers, Jay Viper had a good game last week, going to have another good game this week. I think T the Queen also will have a tremendous game.
I think Jay Viper is the leading wide receiver right now in the league, in the minor league.
Yeah, I think so. He had a tremendous game. I'm going to see if I can get the actual stats real quick. Uh,
Oh, and
see,
Tacoma's fullback will be back next week too.
yeah, he had an early injury. I remember seeing that big man for fullback because he was originally a tight end. Jay Viper had 147 yards off just 7 targets or 7 catches. Sorry, he had 9 targets. So I mean that is something to watch. And from
That's the
quarterback,
definition of an air show.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be an ear show. It's gonna be fun to watch. I think all the wide receivers are gonna have a good game, but I think T. Queen is gonna have a better game than she had last week, and she had a pretty good game. I'm not knocking her game last week. And Jay Vipers, I think, is gonna keep doing what he does, and he's gonna be a threat to watch if Jordan Sip can continue to play as well as he does. So, John,
I mean,
you want to say
yeah,
something?
yeah. I mean, I think it's just gonna if it's gonna be an air show, it's just gonna be Shane Kaufman and Jay Viper show.
It's it's
Like
it's quite
if
possible, yeah.
it's gonna be back and forth. But
I
go on.
I suspect T the Queen will have a good showing against because she's going to be blocked out by the second corner. So I think you got to look at the matchups too. A second corner versus second wide receiver. I think T the Queen is going to have a good game against that.
I don't disagree.
John, because we want to talk about you some more. You came back to the field in week one. You got interviewed by us. You had a friendly time. You've been back. You've been keep coming back. What was it like actually taking the field now and in a new position? Finally get to see yourself play under the guise of the coaches.
I actually enjoy it. Since I joined the league, I want my very first. One second. But it's been that's what I wanted to do 3 years ago when I just joined the league. I wanted to be a linebacker, but like I said, I took the opportunity to be the fullback for Las Vegas Fury season 14, and now to actually be a defense because I'm more defense than I am offense. I like the defense more. I always love the defense. Um, it's actually amazing. It's actually a good feeling. Yeah, I get nervous just like I always am now, but it's just part of the game.
Agreed. And you're picking a role that you want to go to into the pros, so that will be fun to see. See you propelled there. Anybody have any outstanding plays or something they saw week one? Anything they want to add to this before we move on to the next topic of choice? Go
Actually,
ahead.
actually asked which secondary will step up on which game.
That is a good question. Let's look at the matchups again, real quick.
Okay. Um. Hmm. I I'm gonna have to say San Jose might just step up on that one,
Okay.
but they both. I don't know.
I'm gonna lead on the Ottawa secondary because I know they're bend but don't break, but they actually have a good secondary core. They have a lot of good corners. They have a good free safety. Yeah, go ahead, John. And a good strong safety. So I think that will be the secondary I lean on that will have because they had a good performance. They had a bend but don't break, but I think this is where they do a lockdown. And it might be a low scoring game. Madison, I'm not taking anything from them. They will have a better game. They might win it, but Ottawa's defense is still going to hold true to what they believe in and what they do. What about you, Robert?
I agree on your assessment. I think Ottawa will be a really good secondary against Madison, against Xander Moon. Um, uh, I'm trying to look up something real quick here. They only had one pass deflection. I see that number going up. Um, Another team I was looking at was Albuquerque Adams. They had four pass deflections. I think they will pick it up as well.
Agreed. I think there's too much talent on the Ottawa not to have more pass deflections. I have to agree with you on that one. And yeah, I think this will be. I don't think the games will be as high scoring, except for the one game in particular that we all know and love is going to happen with the ERSO. I think there are going to be a lot more good defenses now that we can have scouting in play. Now defenses can predict and play off of what they saw last week and maybe make more stands, make more adjustment in the playbooks themselves. And I think that will make a good difference on what we see. Who knows who knows who will give us the biggest show and the biggest play coming in week two, but it'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to all these games. I do believe they are on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, probably same time as we saw last week. And now I want to talk about a little something personal to me, because I know we may look scary, I got a big beard. I'm gonna be looking like a scary, but I'm a teddy bear. I won't bite. I'm lovable. Come in, I'll give you a hug. If you guys want to get interviewed by us, please do so. We like to make friends here. This is all about the minor leagues. We want to showcase your talent off and on the field. And the way owners pick people is not just based on what you do on the field. Sorry, it's who you are as a person that they latch onto and they really bring you up and draft. I was a week two player coming into the minor leagues, so I didn't have all the boosts. I didn't have all the stats, and Dion must have saw me do interviews back and forth because we really clicked, and I got picked up as a culture pick to change their outlook on what happened in the Tulsa locker room. They want more people talking, more energy, and the only way we can see that, because we don't get a chance to talk and voice chat with everybody when time comes for all that, is the true interviews. And we like making friends. Derek Meerkat, John Fowler. These are all people that I got an opportunity to meet. Robert Cherry, we're meeting for the very first time in voice chat. So this is the opportunity that we get to make, having people here. We get to make friends and make a connection and keep the community strong. So please, guys, if you're having anxiety over interviews, we're all about social anxiety here. Me and Axel, we're scared to death doing these shows sometimes, but we like doing it because we like to bring forth uh, a platform for you guys to play in, a platform for you guys to talk in, a platform for the owners to see you guys at the biggest stage of your career going forward into the pros. So you can pick the team you want to be on, and they can pick you up for the right reason. So please, guys, give us a call at Minor Leagues Fights and Insights. DM me, DM Axel, DM Robert Cherry, DM. I think Johnny Reno will also take your calls because I believe he got a call coming in very shortly. Hopefully, we'll see him in the next couple of weeks. John, Robert, do you have anything to add about the interviews?
I'll
Do
let
it.
you go first.
All right. Actually, do it, you guys. Get your name out there some more. Let people know who their recruit, who they're kind of looking at, like the face behind the player in a way. And then I think somebody asked a question. T Barnes asked a question actually though. Who y'all got winning at San Jose and TAC, the Tacoma? It's a good toss up for me. I can't really pick on that one.
It's an era show. It leans on whoever's defense makes the play, because both offenses showed that they
Agreed.
can play. So it depends on who plays out in defense. Robert, do you have anything to add about interviews?
Just come on the show. It's a really friendly atmosphere. You could talk about anything. We want to learn about you, the personality behind the player, and I think that's important. Uh, when owners and coaches are looking for players, they're looking for the personality. They're looking for a good locker room presence person, someone with a good head on their shoulders, someone who will be there for the team, who will be positive. And I think being on a show and showing what you can do, what you're all about is important. And I think that'll help you get drafted.
Agreed 100%. And I had the pleasure of being on the draft show last season. And I had the pleasure of seeing all these people that we interviewed. Lottie Lou, for example, he wasn't the best wide receiver on the block. He didn't have the best stats. But he's a first rounder because he got interviewed and owners loved the energy he had. He was one of the best interviews last season because of the energy. It was just immaculate to see, and he got a high pick because of it. And it's just these locker room presences, these people that want to do more and help, owners will gravitate to, because they know you're going to be long term. Because we base on a one season free agency like that. Like we don't have multi-year contract, but if they know you're sticking around, that is all they need, and that will get you drafted. So come on by, have some time. I'll give you a hug on camera. We'll have plenty of fun in the end. And now, Robert Cherry, this is a good transition for you, sir, because you were a minor league player last season. Now you're in the pros. You had a playoff game. You won the playoff game. Can you tell me a bit more about that transition to the minor leagues to the pros for yourself?
It was a easy transition for me because my coach on Madison Lynx is Jacob Clear, and I followed him to Charleston Predators, and very much the locker room is exactly like how Madison Lynx were last season, and it was an easy transition for me. He told me what he wanted me to do and what progressions I should be looking into. I got that done, and I had a very successful first season. I think I was the leading rookie in sacks. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check. Um, but he was able to get us to the promised land where we're in the playoffs. We got our wild card win against Mexico City, and we're looking forward to playing our next opponent, which is drawing a blank right now, but we're looking forward to playing them.
Oh, I believe
Louisiana.
you got Louisiana. Yeah.
Yep, Louisiana Rebs. We're excited to play them.
Yeah, and your defense played really well in the playoff game too. So it's going to be fun to see. Kentaj Johnson, people are saying he's the second coming quarterback because he shouldn't have 200 yards in the amount of games he had. He's just playing lights out, and you guys got a good chance. This is not the same Charleston team that lost to Louisiana in the regular season. This is a new team, and people are shouting your name as potential rookie of the years. I have my bet on King Rashid. I'm a little biased though. I'm Tulsa, but you guys are playing lights out, and it's great to see. John, I'm not leaving you out, buddy, because I know you were in the pros, and now you're back in the minors. How is your transition differently compared to Robert Cherry's? Because now you're back in the minor league.
Well, see, I was actually in the minor league before, like Mike
Yes.
was talking about in the last show. I was the one who actually got Mike out to get that spot on Lincoln the first season that they were born because I felt it was right in my mind to let a rookie take that spot and not a veteran. So I went back to Trusman and then stayed with Fleet since then until the beginning of this season, which I was on offense. Yes, I loved being a fullback. Fullback was amazing. I laid some people out, but it was just time for a new change, in my opinion. And going back to the minors actually refreshed a lot of my mind on a lot of things. And the transition is actually pretty good. We get the Madison's got a good locker room spirit. Got a lot of good guys there. The minors itself are a bunch of good people. I think this draft's going to be one of the good drafts that they get a lot of solid people for their teams. But all in all, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah, and the community's always growing. We got over 100 people going into this draft alone already, and we're only going into week 2. So it's amazing to see the growth that's coming from minor leagues to pros, and just in the community itself. Robert Cherry, I know you have a team expansion bid. Hey, you want to talk a little bit about them while we have the chance?
Yeah, my expansion bid was for the Honolulu Extinction. Yeah, it sounds pretty out there, but I thought it was fitting. Putting a team in Hawaii, a nice lush jungle environment, it fit perfectly for like a dinosaur themed team, which is the Extinction. I can give Axel the logo that he could put on his Discord, so you guys could take a look if you like. But I got into the scene a little bit late, I believe, but I got it all put together. I submitted it, and I got some reviews from owners, which were positive and constructive. And I very excited about the bid and look forward to going further with it.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. You were actually a surprise to me because I didn't know you had a bid until I saw it on Swam Talk where they had all the images together. So it was actually nice to see that you had put in a bid from the minor leagues. So it's actually nice to see. I hope you do well with the bid. And if you don't get it, let's just say you don't for the sake of this question. I hope to see you get it in the future because Ethan Kai, he's put in several bids. He's going to keep trying. And I hope you do as well. And it's I'm going to transition this again because we're talking about bids. We're going to transition into actual stuff we do around the league, like stats, GFX, social media, and perhaps even writing with the Swamp Talk, which is what I do personally. I started in minor leagues. I wrote every week. I wrote random stuff too. It's not like I didn't write stats or stuff like that. I wrote a weekly column. I called it the right way of doing things. We just talked randomly about stuff. But these are the things owners will see. Going back to the point of owners looking and seeing what they want in a player, your skills will transition into the owner's dream and want. Axel is a big social media, big GFX guy, I should say. He did a lot of logos in his first minor league season with all the interviews and stuff like that. So, and I know Shane Kaufman, after he didn't get drafted, uh, the previous season or last season, I should say, he became a stats for Queen City. So if you're a minor leaguer, you can transition right up to doing stats and things like that, and it gets a great community and a great conversation of talking with the owners going forward. You build that bond where they pick you up in the future. Have any of you had a chance to do any of these things and have anything to say about them? We'll start with Robert Cherry.
Definitely, that is an avenue that'll help you get drafted and help get your name out there. For example, I got drafted by Charleston, and immediately I asked, "What else can I do?" And I'm helping them with scouting, with a little bit of coaching here and there. And uh, my end goal is to be an owner, of course, and everything I do is setting me up for that. And you guys have to have that same mindset. You want to look a couple steps forward. You want to dress for the part you want, not for the part that you're about to get. And I carry that in real life as well. I do that with my job. I dress for that upper management position that I want compared to my lower management position that I have right now. It's the same mentality you have to bring to the table, and ownership, other coaches, the league likes that.
Agreed 100%. And John, I know you had talks that you want to do a minor league newspaper in the future. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Well, I'm still thinking about how I'm gonna do it because I use my phone for everything, literally. So it's kind of hard to do certain things on the phone, but I want to do like in the future, like an edition before the games, like capitalizing on the show, probably giving everyone's predictions, the host's predictions, put it in there, and then give my own predictions on the who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, what's gonna be the score, and then another edition after that would be capitalizing on how the games went, what really transpired compared to the first edition of the week. It's just something I've been trying to think of and just get kind of going, but it's gonna be a second. Like I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. Like I'm scouting a little bit for Madison, getting that in order. I'm doing the show with you guys, so it's gonna be a second for that to kick in. Um, but like Robert was saying about the stats for the league, the league is looking for a lot of stats people, like all the time. Even other teams, like if you can get on the stats team, they're gonna love you forever. It would really boost your, even if you're not in the pros, it would boost your draft stock. It would boost a lot of things that people feel how they feel about you too. It would show you're committed to the SFL. It would show your energy, like everyone was saying, is there. Like like Robert was saying for his bid, like everything he's doing is gonna lead up to that. I mean, he's right. It really everything you do leads up to what your goal you want to achieve in the server itself, whether it being a player, owner, media, writer, just anything really. I mean, it helps you benefit, in my opinion.
Definitely. And I know Eddie Gage, I'll take a word out of his mouth. If you know how to scout, he's going to take you. That is legit what he said 2 seasons ago. If you know how to scout, I'm taking you. And that's what people and owners look at because they don't want to do all the work themselves. They want a community to help build a team. It takes a village, as Axel put in the chat before. It takes a village to really make a team grow.
I
And
think
I,
also,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I think also, I'm trying to remember his name. I believe it was Frank Bernstein. He came out of nowhere with an Excel spreadsheet for the draft. Stuff like that. The owners love that, and he was drafted to be a stats guy. I'm pretty sure a stats guy because he was just really good at stats. And like I'll reiterate what both of you said. Stats is everything to ownership. They want people that know stats.
Definitely. Especially through That's pretty actually we had it on the show, and I was amazed by how well it was written. And I actually used that for the draft. I'm not even gonna lie. I used his thing for draft and seeing what people had in different spots, what they need, and stuff like that. It helped me tremendously. And if you have, the ability to do anything like that, please go ahead and show us. Let us know. And stats is a highly, highly needed thing. And I know people, even broadcasting is a little harder, but they need broadcasting people too. I'm going to bring that up as well because I know Stephen Hacker's always talking about it. They need stats and broadcasting. If you know how to do stats, please give a message to one of them or someone in general and just say, hey, I would like to learn. At the very least, you want to learn, and that will help you in the future going forward on any team. Any team, every team needs a stats person.
And I'll add something to the broadcasting thing. If you want to be a broadcaster, you're gonna have to have a PC regardless. Because I tried, my phone won't gonna work. So I learned it that way. So you have to have a PC to be a broadcaster. That's what I got told at least. So just give you guys a little insight there.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to ask at the very least, and that's what you did, right? And you learned, and maybe in the future, maybe that will be a step for you. We had a new broadcaster actually cut his teeth, and I love the sound of his voice. It almost sounds like a '70s announcer in the NFL moving forward. The way he speaks, it's just so great. It's old timey. I love it. Get on board, do GFXs. Axel did it. I know Caesar Ackerman, when he was in the minor leagues, did a lot of the Atlanta Swarms logos and things like that to help round it out because he does a lot of graphic stuff. And he's now in Sioux Falls, having a tremendous season in the playoffs. Social media, people will need people going on Twitter, talking about the games, talking about the week leading up to it. And of course, if you like to write like I do, talk to Ross Napoli, or maybe in the future, if John can get it organized, we'll actually go ahead and get a newspaper for the minor league going. This is revenue that people will see because your names will be there, and it'll be actually makes a great point. Stephen Black does graphics for and social media for Florida. He actually is the Florida Storm social media. That's Stephen Black doing it, and he was in the minor leagues 2 seasons ago, and now look at him going right now.
T Barnes had a good idea though for the show too. I read a few minutes ago. Sorry, my kid's just being happy. He said, "Why don't we interview a player from each team? You know what I mean? Get their thoughts on how they thought their team did and how they thought their who they played against did. You know, I
Yeah,
think that's what I was. That
we
was a
love
good idea.
ideas. We actually branched out a whole lot to what we normally did uh, last season. We like to continue to grow. We brought Robert Cherry on last season to actually help get people do interviews with us. He was doing the scouting for us, getting people on, and he's doing it again this season. I'm sure he's clicking the numbers, trying to get people that he can. But like we're always branching out to learn, and we want people to invest in this community and invest in our minor leagues fight and insights platform because it's all about you guys in the end. We're just vessels for you guys to showcase yourselves in the best way possible. Anything else you guys want to add to that?
Um, be yourself. Do you? Regardless of a bad game, don't get yourself down. Keep your head up. No matter what, you everyone played a solid game. Even if it's not, you don't think it's that great, you still did good. Never keep your head down, regardless of a loss or a win.
And what about you, Mr. Cherry?
I would say always stay positive. Always should show good sportsmanship and be very uh, be very open and live in the chat. Uh, talk to people, get to know people, make relationships. The community's amazing, and you can make a lot of friends on there. DMs are always open. Uh, you could always contact me if you have any questions or any issues, and I'll my DMs are open. I'll listen and help you out as any way I can.
Agreed. My DMs are always open. Derek's in it at least once a day, talking to me, and we just built that bond from the minor league show. So like we're a friendly bunch. We'll talk to you guys. We'll communicate any way we can. We'll help you guys grow because we want to see you guys succeed. That's all we want to do here. So I think we are on the nose in time. I'm pleased I was able to talk enough to get us right on the edge that we needed to. So Daniel right here from the Tulsa Desperados going against Vancouver next week. First playoff win in history. We'll see how we do. Robert Cherry had a tremendous game last week, and you're going to go against the Revolution. Would you like to tell them your time when you're going to do that, and anything else you want to talk about? Like you want to showcase or say anything else? Final words, maybe.
Root for us. We're playing Louisiana. They had us in the first game. I think we will come back and have our revenge game and win.
And Mr. Fowler, you're back at it with the minor leagues this week. Anything you want to say about it? Any final words from you?
Just stay happy and positive. Hashtag links up. We got this, boys. But good luck to you two though next week. No, yeah, this week. Good luck. Hope you guys go far. Even if you don't beat yourselves down. You guys made it pretty far. And just stay happy and positive and have fun.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I'm happy with the one playoff win. It's our first win in franchise history, so I'm gonna take that no matter what happens now. Vancouver's gonna be tough. They're number one. They're number one for a reason. But we're gonna try and make a game of it. And for Axel, who's in production, I'm sure he'll type in chat. He'll say his final words there potentially, if he wants to. But we are happy that you guys are watching this. We are happy to know so many of you guys. We just want to know more people as we continue to do this. So this has been Downright from Minor League Faith and Insight. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the field on Friday and this weekend for some of us. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday for another exciting episode. Have a good one, everyone.